Peter Eubanks, but sadly he was injured in training a couple of days ago. So the late replacement, Arthur Clark from the Bahamas. We join the fight at the start, commentator Jim Rosenthal.
Second bell.
So our first look at the new 10-stone champion of Great Britain, Terry Marsh in the blue trunks, his first fight since that thrilling contest against Pinter Mackenzie, up against Arthur Clark, the light welterweight champion of the Bahamas and a substitute for the injured Peter Eubanks. Marsh perhaps with a habit of starting slowly, always with a reputation of being a boxer and not a puncher, but an awkward one this for him, with the prospect of a European title fight coming up for him in '85. Early signs of that uppercut that Marsh uses so well. And he certainly has built up quite a following since he won that title. Minute gone in the opening round. Jim Watt, your impressions so far?
Well, it's a bit early to form an opinion, but Clark certainly looks sharp enough. He's throwing some nice punches. He looks as though he's here to fight. But as I say, a little bit early just to make my mind up. But, I'm looking forward to see Terry Marsh in action again.
And already the crowd chanting and getting behind Marsh, who's scoring pretty well in this opening round. But certainly Clark comes here with a reputation of a durable fighter, and he told me earlier today he'd never been knocked down, but he stopped a good left hand there. And this is certainly an excellent start by Terry Marsh. Marsh saying since he won the champion he's adopted a far more professional approach. He wants to get in and get out of the ring as quickly as possible, and there's doubling up well with that left hand once again. But I suppose, Jim, that's a good right hand coming in again. I was going to say it's unrealistic to say that Marsh will suddenly find a punch now that he's champion, but he's put together some good ones in this opening round. Yeah, well, he probably has the confidence of being British champion now, and the confidence will put more authority in his work, and he'll probably start punching harder. But his left hooks are nice and sharp, and he's certainly punching harder than he did against Mackenzie. And at the moment, Clark flicking out the left hand and bemused by the speed of punch and the accuracy of Marsh. And I wonder how much more of this you'd have the stomach to take. Just 15 seconds left to go of a very satisfying opening round for the new British light welterweight champion, Terry Marsh, the 26-year-old fireman from Basildon. So an excellent opening round for Marsh. Things starting to happen late in his career, age 26. Just the one draw against Lloyd Christie, Errol's elder brother. And looking at his weight, he's come in at 9-12 and a half, which is a pound lighter than he came in against Mackenzie. And he was telling me he had a real scare before that fight. In fact, an hour before the weigh-in, he had to take off 3 pounds, which Jim Watt might explain why he got a little bit weak towards the end. Yeah, that would account for it, because he lost a lot of liquid in that fight. It was a warm arena and it was a hard fight, so I'm not surprised he was exhausted at the end of it. But it's nice to see a champion coming in inside championship weight for a non-title fight. And there is Arthur Clark. So round two. And a very satisfying first one indeed for Terry Marsh. And he really had Arthur Clark, the late substitute, going at times. Looking at Clark at the weigh-in, he a bit marked around the face, and he was telling me that cuts have given him trouble in his career. But he's in good condition. He'd prepared for a fight in Australia that was called off. Just had a week of not training when he got called in here as the substitute for Peter Eubanks. Terry Marsh, though, was geared up to fight Eubanks, geared up to fight a fighter of Eubank's style, but he certainly seems to have fathomed out Clark very quickly. Two good shots there coming in. And right above us, Clark is in trouble. Nathan and referee, Sidney Nathan has stepped in already. He has seen enough, and a very emphatic victory indeed for Terry Marsh. Murmurs behind me that the referee might have come in too quickly, but Jim Watt, it was a very one-sided fight indeed, wasn't it?
Yeah, Clark couldn't get into the fight, and although he wasn't taking clean punches on the ropes, he wasn't throwing anything at all back, and it was pretty obvious that the referee had to act. If Clark had thrown a couple of punches back, the referee could have let it go on a little longer, but he hadn't thrown anything, so the referee has to stop the fight.
So, well done, Terry Marsh. And now, in 1985, he can surely look towards a European title shot, with the likelihood that that championship will become vacant, because Patrizio Livia is about to retire, we all think. Terry Marsh, a good winner here, and now for Europe in 85.
Yes, indeed, a very business-like performance from Terry Marsh. We've also seen a very polished victory from the European super featherweight champion.